think market dude, because when I heard it, I was like, all right, cool. Like they're gonna wear like boxing gloves, right? Headgear, like shin guards. And he's like, no, MMA gloves, no headgear, no shin guards. And I'm like, we had a tournament for a lot of dudes that were in our classes, and my coach is like, he's on point. He's like, hey, we're gonna have a tournament for these guys in the classes. If they want, they're gonna fight each other, and then they're gonna fight to get onto the fight team. You know what I'm saying?
Is this Marcus? Is this Marcus?
Yeah, it's Marcus. So he's like, we got a B team, we got an A team, and I want the B team to fight, and whoever wins the fights is gonna get on the A team. You know, so we had a fight that night. Family, friends, everyone came down. They put on MMA gloves, mouthpiece, no headgear, no shin guards.
Whoa.
And they went at it, dude. And a lot of those dudes like really like felt that, you know, that like,
little bit of small ounce of what it is. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that's like, you know, I'm happy they got to feel it like before they jumped in, where it didn't really matter if you win or lose. It's just kind of like a tryout. And a lot of those dudes, and my brother was one of those people in it, and he did really well. He like his knee blew out at the final fight to a real good friend. Yeah, when he was fighting like a real good friend of both of ours. So all these dudes are friends, and they're fighting each other. It was a crazy night, crazy ass night. But
this seems like does this happen in every gym? Like this seems wild.
You know what, dude? I think market, dude. Because when I heard it, I was like, all right, cool. Like they're gonna wear like boxing gloves, right? Headgear, like shin guards. And he's like, no, MMA gloves, no headgear, no shin guards. And I'm like, for real, we're gonna let him do that? He's like, it's what you do. It's what the boys do. You know, if they want to fight, they're gonna do it. And I'm like, all right. And dude, the whole night I had like a pit in my stomach. I wasn't even fighting, but like I knew these people.
Yeah.
And they're fighting each other, and I'm like, I just don't want anyone to get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Especially
your brother's
like
in
my
there too,
brother's
right?
in there too. So I'm like, I got family in there. I don't want. But he did really well, and a lot of the other guys did well. People got like clipped and like came back, and the show was just a war. It was crazy. It was wild.
Is there footage of this? This was
Dude,
behind
no,
closed
honestly,
doors.
it was behind closed doors. Like family, friends came. I'm sure like some of them filmed, and it was wild. I think my buddy has a clip of like him like clipping one of my good teammates now, and like he got like spaghetti legs gone. But there was rules, so like you can't like if you got an opponent hurt on his feet, you gotta go to the body, for instance. So it kind of like it pulled you back in that circumstance. And when you take him down, it was no shots to the head with your ground and pound. So like then it was, you know, so they had some safety nets in there. And the dude that got clipped actually ended up tossing up like a triangle choke, finished the fight.
What?
And he walked out like not knowing where he was, you know what I'm saying? My boy Isaac, you know, but he's a champ in that aspect. Like he doesn't give up, and he's a good fighter. He's come a long way now, so he's way better. But a lot of those dudes that came out of that tournament are like amateur fighters on the come up now.
Right.
So it was a good experience from it.
Yeah, it was a perfect thing for them. And
I had an experience just like that. I had an amateur MMA fight with my closest friend, like one of my closest friends. He's a bigger dude than me. He's a black belt in judo. I'd done kickboxing for like 5 years at that point. And so we were just like always joking around with each other, like wrestling. And we were all around his house in his garden, drinking beers. And then everyone was like egging it on, like, oh, what would happen? We stripped down to boxers, did a weigh-in. Everyone was drunk. The whole thing got filmed. It was like three 2-minute rounds. And we had the same thing. We were like, all right, we need some rules. So like, if you take me down, please don't elbow me in the face on the floor and stuff. So he's like ground and pound. Oh, it's the funniest thing. I have to show you boys the footage one day. It's the funniest thing.
Oh, for sure. I'd love to see that.
It's so amateur, man. You'd laugh your head off, but it was good.
You'd be surprised. Me and my god brother. He was actually what like he was almost like my stepping stone into the sport, because he was training like low key at in a place in Akron, and he would come over, or I would go over his house, and we go in the backyard at his place, and like we put on MMA gloves. I wasn't training, and he was training a little bit, but like we'd just go at it, and like my brother and his brother would always like we'd come back like a little like sweaty as hell, a little scuffs on our face. But we would go at it, you know, in the backyard. For some reason, we thought it was fun. like looking back at it, something bad could have really happened, you know.
Sure.
Like, you know, but thankfully that didn't happen. But me and my brother and his brother would be like, you know, what the fuck are you guys doing? You're going in the backyard, you're fighting like for fun? Like what the hell? Man?
I think as long as that like one of the people in the situation isn't ridiculously skilled, then it's okay. Like, cause me and my mate, we're both like amateur. Like I said, he's a judo guy. I'm an amateur striker. So like, I don't think we'd have to be fairly unlucky to knock one of each other out or something, because we were both just fairly useless and a bit scared of, you know what it is? We're both so scared of getting hurt in front of your mates, because we had like 7-8 of our boys there all filming it. One was reffing it, one was like running around with a beer reffing. I slipped down a hill and he took me down, and my mate goes, "You don't get that sort of terrain change in the octagon," and like everyone starts laughing, and he's just on top of me like he's hitting me in the body. But
we actually we do this drill at the gym. It'll be like a 2-on-1 drill actually. So like and these are like some fun ass crazy ass days at the gym, but like my coach Marcus, he'd be like, "Hey, we're going 2-on-1 drills," and like if I'm like the one person, he'll give me like two people that are like 100, you know, 70, 180 pounds, right? So it'll be two people there, and we'll just spar for like 3 minutes, and just 2-on-1, and just like reaction time. But it's meant for like you know reaction time. And but it's not MMA. It's you know it's just boxing 2-on-1. Yeah. And dude, it's wild. But like it is twice the cardio. You're like you're trying to hit like, and there's like strategic stuff we all do. Like it's usually one dude is like they're usually like off center, right? One dude's over here to the right, the other dude's to the left, and I'll start like striking this dude to the right, and then the dude to the left is like behind me. So like. All like spinning back fist into the next dude, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of strategy behind it, but the mistake the two people make is like one dude is standing behind waiting for the first dude to finish,
like old Jackie Chan movies where everyone's just sitting in circles waiting.
Yeah, exactly. Me, dude, I'm over here like my partner's hitting him. I'm gonna get in on this side and I'm gonna start hitting him as well, you know. There's no waiting, like I'm in, you know. So they make the mistake of waiting. I just go in. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take advantage of this.
That no word of a lie, that exact story, that I won't go as far as saying saved my life, but it saved me from getting my ass kicked, because we used to do that drill at kickboxing, but more of a self-defense thing. So our coach would get us to have like two guys against you. And you can't do much against two guys, but he'd give you like basic instructions to try your best with your footwork to get one guy behind the other guy and never let them move around you. So you might hit the guy. If that guy's moving to my left, I'll move to the right and keep that guy there. So he's always behind, or he's trying to get around him. And you can't do it for much, but he says like, even if you get 3-5 seconds keeping that guy away, that might be long enough for your boys to come over if you're in a situation. And definitely. I got jumped outside a club. My friend got in the trouble outside a club in England by like actual gypsies. Like they exist here. Like they were like shirts off, jumping the rails at the club. They were like up like that, let's go.